To my amazing YouTube family, thank you for joining me on this emotional journey. Your support truly means everything, and I hope this story touches your hearts as deeply as it poured out from mine. The kitchen clock ticked steadily, each second slicing through the heavy silence that hung between us. I stood frozen, my hand shaking as it held the phone, its screen glowing with a message that cut deeper than any blade. I can't do this anymore. I'm gone. My husband's words, sharp and unyielding, burned into my mind. The air smelled faintly of burnt toast, our breakfast abandoned in the chaos of the argument. His voice still echoed in my ears from an hour earlier. Was it really a joke, Sarah? His eyes, the warm, soft brown I had lost myself in for 10 years, were now cold, searching mine for a truth I had sworn I'd already given. It had all begun so innocently, or at least, that's what I believed. Last night, we were sprawled across the couch, wine glasses sweating on the coffee table, laughing at old memories. The living room glowed warmly, fairy lights casting soft shadows over worn cushions. I teased him about his old college haircut, and he fired back about my obsession with cheesy rom-coms. Then, caught up in a tipsy moment of mischief, I said it. Oh, come on, Matt. You know I could have had my pick of guys back then. Like that time, I almost ran off with Jake from the coffee shop. I laughed, expecting him to roll his eyes like he always did, but his smile faltered. His jaw tensed in a way I noticed immediately. A shadow crossed his face, gone almost as quickly as it appeared. You're joking, right? He asked quietly. I nodded, brushing it off with a giggle. Of course, dummy. You're stuck with me. But something in his gaze lingered, a question I didn't fully grasp until it was too late. This morning, the air felt different. The kitchen, usually a haven of coffee aromas and shared playlists, had become a battlefield. Matt stood by the counter, shoulders hunched, eyes fixed on the screaming kettle. Sarah, he said, not looking at me, why did you say that about Jake last night? His voice was calm, but sharp like a wire pulled taut. I laughed nervously, stirring sugar into my mug. It's just a dumb joke. You know me, always running my mouth. But his eyes met mine and they weren't laughing. They were searching, peeling back layers I didn't even know I'd hidden. You've mentioned him before, he said. Jake more than once. Why? My stomach twisted. Had I? I sifted through memories, casual conversations long past. Jake had been just a barista I'd flirted with years ago, before Matt and I were serious. A harmless crush, nothing more. But the way Matt said his name made it sound like a crime. I don't know, I stammered. He was just around. It meant nothing. Matt's hand tightened around his mug. Nothing, he repeated, heavy with doubt. Then why does it feel like there's something you're not telling me? Steam from the kettle curled between us like a ghostly barrier. I wanted to reach for him, to pull him back to the warmth we'd always shared, but my feet refused to move. The day unraveled from there. Questions I hadn't anticipated, about late nights at work, the weekend I'd gone to a conference alone, why my phone always face down, each one small, but sharp, cutting through the morning. I answered honestly, or so I thought. You're hiding something, he said finally, voice breaking. I can feel it. I wasn't hiding anything, or at least I didn't think I was. But doubt crept in like poison. Had I been too friendly with Jake back then? Had I allowed a harmless flirtation to linger too long in my mind? I remember Jake's smile, how it once made my heart skip, years ago, before I chose Matt, before I chose us. But I had never acted on it. Never. Matt, please, I pleaded, my voice cracking. It was a stupid joke. I love you. You know that. He shook his head, eyes glistening. I don't know what I know anymore, he whispered, grabbing his keys and walking out, the door clicking shut like a verdict. I waited. Hours blurred together. I sat on the couch, staring at the front door, willing it to open. The fairy lights mocked me with their soft glow, too gentle for the ache in my chest. I called, I texted, messages piling up unanswered. Please come home. I'm sorry. I love you. Nothing. Then, as the sun sank below the horizon, casting the room in bruised purple light, his text came. I can't do this anymore. I'm gone. Panic clawed at me. I scrolled through our messages, searching for something I'd missed. Buried in months of mundane texts was a photo I'd sent from the conference, a selfie at the bar, me smiling with colleagues. In the background, barely noticeable, was Jake. I hadn't even realized he was there. Had Matt seen it? Had he carried this suspicion for months, letting it fester? I drove to his office, his friend's house, the park where we'd walked. Empty streets, the city a maze. My mind replayed every moment I dismissed, the quiet moods, the lingering glances when I mentioned old friends. Had I been blind? Or had he built a betrayal in his mind that never existed? Days passed. The house grew heavy with silence, pressing against my skin. I found his wedding ring on the kitchen counter, tucked behind the coffee maker like an afterthought. My fingers trembled holding it, a weighty reminder of vows now fractured. I called anyone who might know where he was, his sister, his coworkers, but no one could or would tell me. Then, a week later, a letter arrived, his handwriting jagged across the envelope. My heart lurched as I tore it open, hoping for answers, for reconciliation. Instead, a single page stared back, raw and unsteady. Sarah, I loved you with everything I had, but I can't live wondering if I was enough. You never cheated, I know that now. But you let me think you might have, and that's a betrayal I can't forgive. I saw Jake in that photo at the bar. I've carried that image for months, and it broke me. I'm sorry. Don't look for me. The letter slipped from my hands. I sank to the floor beside it. The truth hit me. I hadn't lost him to another man. I'd lost him to doubt, to a careless joke that had planted a seed of suspicion, growing into a chasm. The heartbreak wasn't in the act, but in the trust one had shattered with a laugh. I stared at the unplugged fairy lights, cold now. The house was no longer a home, just a hollow shell of what we had built. And somewhere, Matt carried a wound I had never meant to inflict. This betrayal wasn't mine alone. It was ours, born of unspoken words, misread truths. A love lost to a shadow that never truly existed. If you found this story touching, heart-wrenching, or simply thought-provoking, please subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. Your support means everything, and I promise to keep bringing you stories straight from the heart.